Coming up on this episode of Cade Friends, I am joined by Alex and Diane.
I mean, I could go really out there with this, but I'm not.
Okay.
Because I have respect for you two.
Well, why not? Go out there with it.
I would play with Benedict Cumberbatch all day long. Yeah. But I also saw Dom DeLuise in the middle of the night in a hotel.
Oh, hey, what situation was that?
Anyway, so he walked in with the note. Right?
Oh.
We walked in behind him and just kind of staged ourselves around.
So just other customers.
And we pulled out the guns and...
Wow, that's fascinating. And most likely this episode will be titled Diane Robs a Bank.
Diane Robs a Bank.
Hello, I am Cade, and welcome to the Cade Friends podcast. I am joined this time by Alex and Diane. How are you, Diane?
I'm great, Cade.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad. You know, it's always fun whenever you're around Diane.
I know.
Diane, I have a question for you.
Oh, we're jumping in. Okay.
Jumping right in here.
What is this you're wearing? Is this a sweat? Is that a scarf? I don't know what it is, but I love it. Can you show it off to the camera?
It's like a shawl thing, I think. I'm not really sure. It's like wearing a blanket.
Mm-hmm. It looks
I kind of like it.
Super comfy.
It is. It's very warm.
I noticed it while we were doing our Patreon mic check. And I thought that looked super cozy, and I wasn't sure what it was.
It's better than a weighted blanket, let me tell you.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to hear Diane deny the weighted blanket, check out our
Get
Patreon.
it out of here. Throw it off frame.
Yes.
She doesn't want it.
The weighted blanket from hell.
Pillow. Do you want this other pillow?
I like this pillow.
I'm fairly comfortable.
Okay, good.
As long as you guys will help me up when this is over.
Yeah.
Because you do have a sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
Yes, for the audio listeners, we are all sitting on the floor.
That's right.
And if you want to get that joke and other jokes, subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/Cade Thomas.
And it's worth it when I'm on there. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally
there was a lot of fun stuff this time, right? We really dive deep into one of Diane's obsessions, and that is her June's Journey, the mobile game.
I do have an obsession with June's Journey.
Yeah.
I really do.
It's kind of a problem.
It is. It is, because I'm about to run out of levels, and then
What happens then?
It's scary.
You have to start over.
Oh, from the beginning?
Not much else you can do. You have to wait for the developers to develop more, scenes for you to play.
Oh wow.
We have a couple of people on our team that are at that point.
So do they just fall
go
off,
back and replay stuff.
Wow. Can you get like max stars or something, like max points? Is it like a high score?
Is there?
You can get a high score. There's this game that they play on here that is like, it's a matching game where you have two scenes and you've got to find the differences between them. And somehow or another, people can cross their eyes and really be fast at that. Because I don't know how that works exactly. When someone explained it to me, like, well, yeah, they just crossed their eyes. And I'm like, are you kidding? Didn't their mothers tell them your eyes can get stuck that way? I mean, weren't you told that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We all were told that.
Well, I don't.
When we were kids. I don't see how that works.
Yeah, I don't even see how they quite do that, how that even helps them. But, I mean, to each their own, I guess. I mean,
I don't
if it works.
If it works, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Because my mom told me my eyes would get stuck that way.
Let's look at an old lifestyle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And who knows? It could happen.
Could happen. You wouldn't want to be
we know eyeballs aren't just gel.
Yes.
Right? You can literally digest one, throw it back up, and digest it again.
Yeah. Me and Diane know that.
We know that.
Well, I was going to ask Google, if you keep your eyes crossed too long, will they stay like that?
Well,
some things have mystery.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. All right.
You got to go with what mom said.
Yeah. Who cares what Google says in that situation?
Yeah. Google wouldn't know. She's not a mom.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. All right.
I'm not a mom either, but I had one, and she told me.
And Google didn't have one.
Oh, yeah. No kidding.
Maybe that's where the Google's problem is.
Maybe it is.
It didn't have a mother to teach it right from wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
No one to look up to.
Yeah.
That is...
To be mentored.
Yeah. Feel sad for Google
Poor Google. Well, it's probably why we beat them at trivia.
Yeah.
You beat Google at trivia?
Heck
We
yeah.
beat, you were in that team, weren't you, when we beat Google?
I think you were the reason we won.
Yes.
Oh, well,
Because
doesn't surprise me.
it's when we played in at the charity thing at that one point
Yeah.
over there, and and I think.
Oh,
was there.
yes.
Yes, we were sitting next to the Google table.
And you were throwing them false answers.
Yes.
Yes.
Who would have thought that the Google team would have, I don't know, invaded our privacy and listened into what we were saying?
Exactly.
That's true. I did do that.
You
I
did.
did.
So they missed a lot of questions. Yeah.
I'll take credit for it.
Oh.
It was because of you.
So I think Diane also had a bank story for us.
Oh, my God.
Well, I guess let's
Should
set
we
it-
save that one? Should we save that one a bit?
We can. I mean, we can do that now. I mean, for people who don't know, who don't listen to our sister podcast, the Double Future Movie Club with Diane and I, or even haven't seen Diane's last episode, Diane Finds Bigfoot. We need to preface maybe they just jumped on. They've seen your TikToks. They don't know. They want to see
have no idea.
They don't know. So they got to know. Diane spent decades, would you
Decades.
say, in the
Decades.
in finance. That's
Yes.
what your work was and everything.
Right.
And various points. So what exactly what were you doing the whole time there? I mean, you did
Like
various
you
things.
I had an
rob
arc.
banks,
You
right?
did art.
I had an arc.
Yeah.
Diane, did you ever rob a bank?
No.
Okay.
No. But another story.
Oh,
We had this
Double feature.
location. This was in Arlington, Texas. We had a location that looked like a bank, right? Like a branch, right? That you could drive up. You know where you guys do your bank fee when you have to go in. You know, if you're not using my app, then if you have to go in to do your banking, we had a setup where this is where they train the tellers. You know, on how to service customers, do withdrawals, all this stuff, how they use the computer system, et cetera, et cetera. They also staged a bank robbery.
they staged it.
Yeah. And the tellers didn't know it was staged.
Oh.
Because
Wait,
when
who staged it?
the class, part of the class was a staged bank robbery.
Oh.
So they would go through and ask people to volunteer. And I was like, I want to be Patty. Please, God, let me be Patty.
Did you wear the whole outfit and everything?
Oh, yeah. Had a little beanie thing on. Oh, yeah.
We're referring to Patty Hearst.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry,
I don't
Alex.
get that reference.
Patty Hearst, yes. Yeah, I got to carry a fake gun and everything. It was great. Of course, these poor kids that were being trained, they had no idea this was staged.
So did you like bust in and go like, this is a bank robbery? Or did you like quietly go up and say, I have a gun, give me the money?
No. So I was just a supporting character in this.
Okay.
I
You
was
weren't
the lead guy.
Yeah.
I was Patty Hearst. I was not. I was captured and brainwashed and turned into a bank robber.
She was well into her character.
I was so into my character. Anyway, so he walked in with the note. Right.
Oh.
We walked in behind him and just kind of staged ourselves around.
So just other customers.
And we pulled out the guns and there were people there. All of us worked at the bank.
Okay.
Don't get us wrong. We all worked for the organization, but there were people who were customers. You know, that were acting as customers.
Oh, they're acting.
And the only people who were not acting were the poor tellers that were going through training on what to do in a bank robbery.
Wow.
So what
was
did they
fun.
succeed? Did you guys walk out with money?
We walked out with money. Yeah,
Wait, so is that the thing? Is like give them the money?
give us the money.
Oh, really?
They're supposed to do it, but they put dye, or do they do dye and stuff
yeah,
back then? Yeah, okay. So did they pass? Did they do what they did correctly? Did the tellers react correctly?
Yeah, they
Okay.
did. I thought they did.
Okay.
You know, and then afterwards they have this thing where they, of course, one girl started crying, and I don't think they did any more stage bank
Yeah.
robberies after that.
Yeah, what if someone would have gotten hurt? Like, what if one of the tellers was like, "I'm going to be a hero"?
Yeah.
You're like tries to save.
Well, and back in those days, people didn't carry guns to work.
Yeah.
You know, now they do. So you wouldn't want to do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I only knew one person in my entire career that carried a gun to work. And she wasn't supposed to, but her husband was like a retired police officer. So she was like big into guns. And so she carried a gun into work. And she was the scariest person I ever met in my entire life.
So
Trigger, just one of those
Trigger happy.
Yeah, where she would get angry really easily.
So was this better than your airline like
Simulation.
airline simulation?
The airline simulation was a lot of fun, but it was all about me. Where the bank robbery was really about teaching
about
kids what to do.
That's so cool.
Fascinating that they would they would fill up the place with fake customers too, or
Well, and the teller, the people who were in training, they knew they were in training.
yes,
They knew they were not. Yeah, they didn't knew that they were not in a real branch.
Okay, so they knew that part.
And they knew that the people who were customers that were doing customer also were bank.
Okay.
It wasn't like they were completely unaware.
I just wanted them to
But the
At
bank
the
rob.
same time, though, it was totally
Yes.
realistic that it could be robbed because there was money in there.
yes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't out of the question for them to say, "Oh my God, what are the odds we're getting robbed?" And
Oh, yeah.
wow.
Out of the question. At all.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Diane got
that
to
would
rob a bank.
There are a lot more bank robberies than you hear about on TV, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Wow, that's fascinating, and most likely this episode will be titled "Diane Robs a Bank." Just one
Diane
day.
robs a bank.
That's
Diane as Patty Hearst.
Yeah,
we haven't even gotten to the main story yet.
We'll Photoshop you in the Patty Hearst photo.
There you go. We should have saved that one for. Anyway.
Well, do we come back to the other bank story? Like, do we do a quick segment and then come back to the
The
bank?
other one is really sad.
Oh, it's a sad.
Sad story.
Oh,
Even
Well, maybe you
though-
livened it up by telling Alex the history of Patty Hearst.
Oh, God. Google it. Poor Patty Hearst. She's so maligned.
Yeah, it was a fascinating story. It is a really fascinating story. A lot of people have different perspectives on what sort of happened there.
I'll Google her as soon
Yeah.
as we're
Her
done.
story, right, was that she got in with this crowd of people and
She's the heiress to the Hearst fan. So Hearst was
Yeah.
William Randolph Hearst was the newspaper guy. He was what Citizen Kane was sort of based on.
she was embarrassed to millions.
Hearst owned pretty much a lot of the newspapers in America, and she was his granddaughter. I don't know. She was something. She was the heiress to the Hearst family. I don't know how she was related to William Randolph Hearst, but and she. So what's her story?
Was that she was kidnapped and then brainwashed.
Yes.
And the first time that they see her is on these security cameras during this bank robbery.
Yes.
You know, and she had a little hat on. It's so
She had a
cute.
little hat, yeah.
And a you know, an assault weapon. But and that's when, because the family, she had been missing.
Yes.
And this is when the family, suddenly here she was.
So it was a big deal. People were like, "Oh, has she been radicalized?" It was in this sort of time period where, they were saying that, or was she brainwashed? It was a whole thing, and
Around the same time frame as Charlie Manson had happened.
Oh,
and,
wow.
All this stuff.
here's
so,
this famous heiress to this thing. Yeah.
yeah,
And
it's an interesting story.
yeah. She's lived, after all that very secluded life and everything. She
Got
weirdly
married,
enough
had kids.
she's been in a bunch of she was good friends with John Waters. She was in would appear in a lot of John Waters movies. Just kind of a odd thing about Patty Hearst, very secluded life, but she would act in these John Waters films as minor roles. Yeah.
I'm gonna look her up after this.
You do. It's an interesting story.
Yeah.
The 60s were a separate time,
Yeah.
I think. 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Dang, that's
It was quite a time to be alive.
Well, I guess we'll jump into our first segment here.
Do I have a choice?
Fun segment in the show. You haven't had this segment before, Diane. So
no.
it's I definitely think one of our weirder segments. But I think you'll take it in stride, hopefully.
Hey, I had to deal with Captain Crunch,
Yes. So here we are. We keep this to our best people. So here we go.
Oh, no.
Our next segment is titled Wakey Wakey, Bendy Cumberbakey.
Oh, my God.
People want this, Diane. So we will.
Are you sure?
Well, no one doesn't want it. So
Okay. We'll be the first that they'll say, we don't want this.
Yeah, this could end the segment, I guess, hypothetically. This is a fun little segment of the show. Okay. So it takes you into an idea here. I want you to feel this. So after we're done today,
It's a bit of a role play.
it's a bit of a role play.
Okay.
At the end of this day, we're done recording. You go home. You whatever. You go to bed. Okay, for the night. Fall asleep. You wake up next day in the morning. You are in the body of English actor Benedict Cumberbatch. What do you do?
Benedict Cumberbatch? That's who you gave me?
That's what the segment's called.
You're the third person ever, I think. Third person?
Yeah.
Third person.
You couldn't have picked anyone other than Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, it would be weird to call it Wakey, Bendy, Cumberbakey and wake up as
Somebody else.
Angelina
somebody
Jolie.
else. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
And that was already locked in as the title. We went title first, and then
I can see that. The first thing I would do is turn down the roll for Augusto Sage County.
you go back. Okay.
Yeah. I would say cut all those scenes out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm an unnecessary piece of this work, and I did such a terrible job at it.
He had a weird accent, and also his arc was that he fell in love with his cousin.
Because he's from Oklahoma.
He's from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oh.
He does like I'm from Oklahoma, and I'm Benedict Cumberbatch, and it's awful. It's an awful accent.
That was even better than his accent was. In
And I'm in love with my
County.
cousin, I realized.
That'd be the first thing.
All right. Yeah, I think.
That's supposed to be a dramatic film with Meryl Streep's in it.
Wow.
Character actress Marco Martindale, Julia Roberts, Ewan McGregor, Chris Cooper.
Chris Cooper was the best. He
Cooper was
actually was great in that movie.
Sounds like they fumbled the ball with that one. The whole cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Everybody was trying to act each other.
They were doing like a competition there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wake
So-
up. So walk us through this. You realize you're in a different place.
Yeah.
You're in London or wherever he
Yeah.
lives at, L.A. I'm sure he has a few different houses, right?
Possibly. I just hope that his wife's not home. She's going to be so surprised.
But you are Benedict Cumberbatch, just in his body. You're just in his head.
I don't care. I'm hoping she's in London. I'm in LA.
Okay, so you're in L.A.
And no children are here. They're with
yes.
mom.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, let's get to lay some ground
Let's lay
rules.
some ground rules.
I don't want any crying babies around. Yeah.
Okay. You get a phone call
Yeah.
from your agent, says they need you on set for the new Doctor Strange 3, I guess. What do you do?
Has he done 3? I mean,
He's done 2, but I guess they're going to probably make a third one. Maybe
yeah.
cameos and something.
yeah.
Who knows?
Anything would be better than 2.
They need you on the Marvel on the Marvel
On
set.
the Marvel set.
They
The Marvel
need
set.
you on the Marvel set.
Yes. Okay. I'm good with that.
Okay. So what?
So you would go.
You would
So
go.
go get that car into my house. Let's go. I want to
You would-
meet.
you would rent-
I want to
you'd
meet
go with it.
Hawkeye. I want to meet all of them. I want all the boys there.
So you would run with it. You wouldn't like tell
Totally.
people that I'm not actually Benedict
How,
Cumberbatch.
they're not going to believe you. You look like Benedict Cumberbatch. Of course, it's going to be tough because I'm like 5'2" and he's what 6'2".
Well, I guess you would.
Yeah, we'll not
you
know
would-
how to walk.
Yeah.
Like, how do I walk?
They're gonna think like, did you have too much to drink? Probably.
Yeah.
Like, what's going
Yeah.
on?
How do I walk with all this? How do I get off the toilet? I mean, think about that when you're there. Well, you are that tall. Yeah. So you have to have like, something to hold on to get off the toilet or what? When you're that tall.
You can just stand up.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
And there's thinner air. There's thinner air
oh, is that right? You're not used to
than
that?
what I'm used to.
Yeah. Okay.
But you're in his body. His body's probably used to it. Yeah.
But I'm not.
You're not. Yes.
So the
Just
height.
reaching for the door.
So the height thing is going to be the
Depth perception. That
not that it's a different house and a different place altogether.
she's scared of how she's gonna walk.
It doesn't really matter if you can't get out of bed.
Well, this isn't on top. I mean, tall people get out of bed every day.
But not with the short brain.
Okay. So Okay, you figure it out. You get your phone call. You jump into the limo that takes you to the Marvel thing, and you're shooting a scene, and you go. Well, at this, you do not.
First they have to put the makeup
the
and
gray streak.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I got that. I bring it with me. But they're gonna have to put the little goatee.
Thing on. They'll have to get you in your wardrobe, your cape, and everything. Yeah. And at this point,
I'm taking the cape home.
So you would take the cape home. Yeah. So you're going to go the entire day acting as Benedict Cumberbatch.
Wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. Well, you guys would have a much easier time of it. Because you're tall.
So
and you know how to handle like going to the bathroom and shit.
So okay. So let's walk through. So is at any point are you panicking that you don't know your lines for the scenes, that you don't?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
They'll
feed you your lines.
Oh, okay. So you'll just do that. You're saying, yeah.
If you can't wing it,
yeah.
Then why even have this segment?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, okay.
I'm more interested in having to go to the bathroom. Benedict Cumberbatch. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a whole thing.
I'm going to know things about him that very few people know.
So you're going to go work your 9 to 5 as Benedict Cumberbatch, or however long the set is. You're going to go work.
Line.
People come up to you and like, Bendy, or whatever they call them. They're like, hey, remember, yesterday I told you about my, this problem I'm having. Have you thought about it or whatever?
Yeah, and I think you should go with it. I totally think you should go with it.
Oh, okay. I was really on the fence about that.
Unless crypto's involved, go with it.
Okay. I don't know if that's the best idea, but if Benedict Cumberbatch says so.
I guess it was always my dream job to fake rob a bank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So you'd go with it all the way. You would ride that train all the way to the station.
What are you going to do? Of course you would.
Uh-huh.
But call in sick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's...
I could go really out there with this, but I'm not.
Okay.
Because I have respect for you two.
Okay.
And I don't think it would be fair to you if I went out there with this completely.
Well, why not? Go out there with it.
I would play with Benedict Cumberbatch all day long.
Alex, Alex, why are you letting this happen? Alex, do something about her response.
That's...
Why not?
So
I'm never going to get this opportunity again. Okay.
So might as well take it.
That's right. No, I'd go to the set. Mm-hmm. I'd just say, give me my line.
Uh-huh.
Let's face it. It's Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Not a lot of acting involved here.
Yeah.
Right?
They put you on wires, or then you just move your hands.
Oh, yeah, I can do all that.
And they feed people lines anymore. They put a little thing in their ear and they tell them, you say that you're, you would have to be Benedict.
I'll try not to giggle and turn red when I meet all my favorite stars. Yeah. That might be a little hard.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry about that Josh guy doing any directing, right? Mm-hmm. So we didn't have to worry about hauling off and knocking the crap out of him for being the misogynistic dick that he was to the Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, yeah. Joss Whedon. Yeah.
So
he doesn't direct him anymore.
No.
So you're done filming. Filming's done.
Yes.
The other actors, they're like, hey, we're going to go out for drinks.
Uh-huh. Cool.
This is Jeremy Renner that says this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And everyone come see my band. I'm going to play.
Right. Yeah, we're going to go do karaoke.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Who's the other one that does karaoke? The Iron Man guy.
Oh,
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. They do karaoke.
So do you go out and drink with them, or do you say, I got to go home?
No, I'm out. Man. I'm out drinking with
Diane is full.
I am so now that I figured out how to use my legs and my arms.
And they're like, wow, you're really acting very much more energetic, Benedict Cumberbatch, about everything and have a zest for life that you didn't have.
That's right. It's been on the wires all day. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. They're like, hey, Benedict, this is on set, they're like, this is a very dangerous stunt. Do you want to do this? You want your body double to go and do this?
Oh, I'd be out there. Let me do it. Let me do it. Trust me up,
you don't want to do this sort of scenes.
Trust me up. So it crushes my balls. I'm okay with that. Because tomorrow I'm going to wake up, I'm not going to be Benedict Cumberbatch. He is. He'd be going, oh my God, what did they do to my balls? Oh, shit. What happened? Okay, sorry.
All right. Well,
And what do you hope Benedict's doing in your body this time?
Oh, so we've swapped.
we're gonna swap.
Oh my God, he's gonna be so depressed.
He's woken up with your 2 dogs.
He's gonna be so depressed. Let me tell you. First off, he's gonna cry. He's gonna go, oh my God, I just lost 40 years. What the hell happened? And then the dog's gonna bite him. Max is blind. He bites everybody. So he'll get bit. Of course, there's no teeth involved, so it just hurts like hell. Yeah.
Just jaw energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what he's going to wake up to.
Well, yeah. Now, Ollie, the other dog, might actually be underneath him because when he gets cold, he starts burrowing
Yeah.
and doing that kind of stuff. At first, he's going to cry. He's going to look in the mirror and go, what the
You have to
fuck?
figure out how to walk.
What the heck? Yeah.
Can't believe you.
My bed's real tall, so he's going to like roll over to get out of bed thinking his feet are like a foot longer.
Well, the air's so much thicker down here.
That's right. The air's thicker. Woo, look at all this oxygen up here. Great. Yeah.
Wow.
And then he's going to cry.
Yeah. Do you think Benedict would roll with it too as an actor? Or do you think that he would try to, or do you think that he wants his life back and he's like going around?
He's gonna be like,
Do you think he's making phone calls?
he's gonna be Google, how do I get my life back? Google, what the hell happened to me?
Make a phone call to Marvel Studios to say that person inside my body's an imposter. Don't let them do anything.
I mean, you think about it from his perspective. First person, he's gonna call his wife. He goes, stay away from me.
Yeah.
But this is now Diane's phone and voice saying, stay away from me.
Stay away from me.
I've actually been, yes, Diane's voice saying, I've actually been Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah.
I'm actually your husband. Stay away from the guy who looks like me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They see the
Oh, that's
news.
gross. Just to think about that. Okay.
Yeah. He's trying to call the news station saying the person there who went to karaoke with Renner is not me. It's on all my social media accounts, just living it away. Yeah.
Yeah, I got kind of doubt any of that would happen. They'd probably try to go back to sleep to, maybe
Trigger. Yeah.
sleep this off. Yeah.
This is a weird dream, weird nightmare.
Yeah, it's a nightmare to wake up from.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that has been Wakey, Bendy Cumberbakey.
I bet that's the most fun you've ever had
So, Diane,
with this segment.
I know it's a mood killer, but I want to hear it.
Alex, you are never a mood killer.
I want to hear this other bank story.
Bank rob.
Oh, gosh. This is a tough one. So this is when I was living and working in Fort Worth before this bank failed. I mean, so that's a whole different issue. So at the time I smoked, and you could smoke in buildings back then, right? But they changed the rules where you couldn't smoke in the office. So you had to go to a separate area to smoke. And so I would go in and sit with this lady who was there every day. She was older than me by about 20 years or so. And we would smoke together. And she told me about her son. She, really loved her son.
I know the story.
She drove a Cadillac. She had the poofy hair, with the beehive kind of hair deal. And really sweet little old lady. So I always thought of her as. Anyway, gosh, where do I even start with this? Over the holidays, when you back then when you worked in the bank, you had to take off for a full 2 weeks at a time, right? So you had to be out of the building and away from everything for a full 2 weeks. So 10 working days, because it's hard to get away with stuff when you're out that long. Well, she was out for Christmas break, right? And they decided to audit her area
Okay.
while she was out. And they found these discrepancies between a couple of the internal accounts, not customers' accounts, but internal accounts. And so she comes back and she says, oh, I just forgot to, to do these adjustments and I'll get that done. So the auditor said, okay, fine, no problem. Walked out. About a month later, this new person comes into the audit department. She's supposed to do the follow-up, right? So she goes in, she does the follow-up, and she's noticing that this correction that was supposedly made, all it did was move money between two accounts, right? Mm-hmm. So there was still $7 million out. No matter what she looked at, it was still $7 million was gone. So she took it to the head of the audit department, and he was like, oh, my God. So then a team comes in and tears the whole place apart, and they realize that she's taken $7 million.
Wow.
So they arrest her at home, right? So they didn't arrest her at work. They arrested her at home. The head of the audit department lost his job along with every auditor that had ever audited that area over the last 2 years because she had been stealing money for years to get it up to $7 million.
Minus that one person, I assume, that found it.
Yeah, she stayed. Oh. She stayed. She didn't want to be an auditor anymore. That's for damn sure. Because that, neither here nor there. So she goes to prison. The whole reason that she stole the money was because her son had gambling debts. And he was a big-time gambler. So he would get into debt, and she would have to bail him out before he got killed or lost a leg or a limb. And this kind of became a cycle. And so she went to, she died there.
Wow.
It was a horrible story. Isn't that a horrible story?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Moral to the story is, if you're going to steal money from your employer, make sure when you leave, you go somewhere where they cannot extradite you. Mm-hmm. My plan was to go to Belize, and then it gets its independence, and now there's an extradition deal. But yeah, that was always my plan. Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that a sad story? See, that's a downer.
It's a downer, but yeah.
$7 million.
$7 million.
I
was like over the course of 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So she was very smart with it then.
Oh, well, yeah.
But eventually someone found it.
Yeah.
And she worked next to you, is that what you said? Or she worked?
No, she worked on another floor and everything. But I would just see her and we would, smoke at the same time.
Oh, okay.
That's how I knew her.
Wonder what ever happened to the kid.
Yeah.
Lost both of his legs. I don't know.
Yeah, because he's the reason. Like,
he was the reason.
You're the reason your mom's in jail now. Like, how do you go about that?
I don't know.
Did he keep gambling? Was he like, I'll gamble her out of jail?
Yeah. Just let me gamble that lawyer fee. Yeah. I know I can double it.
Yeah. I think we talked about that on our bad education episode because it was about kind of money or things. Yeah.
Yeah, committing fraud like that. That's the only person that I ever knew at the bank that I actually knew this person, that had committed fraud. Now, I did work for someone who did. But that's a whole other story that I can't talk about. Cannot talk about that one. Mm-mm.
Well, one of my favorite stories that we keep teasing, I think we teased it last time. It has to do with your career in finance, but we never got to it. And that's your Alan Greenspan story.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It was, if you ever watch, movies where you have people in a boardroom and there are people along the wall, these are the seconds. These are the people who take the notes, where if there's an action item that has to occur, they're the ones who write it down, make sure it happens, that kind of thing. And that's called the seconds. You're along the wall. Mm-hmm. Well, I was one of those people along the wall. Whenever we were doing a project in Texas, and one of the people that was a peer of mine made a decision that was probably the wrong thing to do. And although there were a few of us who tried to tell them this is probably not going to work out very well, it didn't work out at all. Mm-hmm. And we impacted the money supply for the 12th district, or the 11th district. That's what the Texas is, which meant the Federal Reserve was impacted, which, the treasurer at the time was Alan Greenspan. So we were all called into this boardroom. There's a president of the bank, the chairman was there. I'm a second along the wall. My boss, who was, the same characters Meryl Streep played in The Devil Wears Prada. She's at the table. And the big bosses were like, you either get this fixed or it's not going to be good. But yeah, Alan Greenspan was there to tell us that you better get your act together.
Yeah.
So it was your boss who messed up or a coworker?
No. Coworker.
Wow. They messed up so bad that they impacted the Federal Reserve.
The money supply, yes. Which can happen.
Yeah. Oops. That's a pretty big blunder.
It was a major blunder. It was a major blunder.
Sounds like
And
domestic terrorism.
He didn't lose his job either.
Yeah.
He didn't?
He got moved on to somebody else.
Yeah.
So you're telling me I can just go and, I don't know, do something and destroy the Federal Reserve?
No.
I won't lose my job. I'll just get moved.
You,
Well, if it was destroyed, I mean, you had an impact.
That's
I mean, that should bring you some sort of comfort in life that you can mess up, or someone can mess up that much and it be fine. I mean, some people can't, but I guess this guy got it, figured it out. I mean, that's
they had to fly in cash from other districts. I mean, there's always checks and balances. There's always a fail-safe kind of in place. It's just that you don't really want to see a single bank do something that's stupid.
Yeah.
Tried telling him it was going to be stupid, but he didn't believe us. He was from Boston. He said, there's no way you could train all the people in Texas, in 2 weeks. It just can't be done. I'm like, we're not stupid down here. We can do that. We have Southwest Airlines. We could send trainers all over the freaking state if we wanted to. He didn't believe us.
Yeah.
And then he paid. Well, he didn't pay for it.
He didn't pay for it.
Wow. Was he in the front of was he in that meeting?
No.
Oh,
he was not in that meeting. He was not. He was never worked on that project again. Yeah. I really don't know what happened to him, but he was around. I mean, I knew he was around after that.
Yeah.
Did you ever rub it in his face and be like, told you so?
No.
I got to meet Alan Greenspan.
I got to meet Alan Greenspan. Well, I didn't really meet him. I was a second. I was on the wall. Yeah, but I got to see him in person. What's up? Yeah. But I also saw Dom DeLuise. So in the middle of the night in a hotel.
Oh,
hey, what situation was that? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
This was in New York.
Yes.
And we were staying at New Hyde Park. And they have these buggy races there, and surely you've seen those on TV, right? Okay. So this was like a really well-known buggy track right there by this hotel. And I was up there working on a project. And there were several of us we were in my room drinking one night. And I opened the door and just looked out, and here comes Dom DeLuise walking down the aisle. He's got on like a lounging jacket kind of thing, only long, like a house coat, like you would see guys wear in the 50s and 60s, kind of silky, satiny looking house coat. And two really good looking boys. Ooh, good looking young men. They were like my age at the time.
Yeah. Did you invite them in?
No.
Why did you invite them over?
Hey, Dom, come on.
I walked out almost right into it. It was like, oh my.
Sorry, we're having a party. Are you interested in joining us?
Yeah, no. I asked him for an autograph. He was like, no. Okay.
Probably wasn't the appropriate time.
Probably was not. I was just so shocked.
Yeah.
This is, right around the time of he and Burt Reynolds were doing those movies and stuff. Yeah. So he was really well known at the time.
Smokey.
Yes, the Smokey.
And he didn't give you an autograph.
You know what? He was busy. He had these two boys with him. He was busy. These two young men. I don't want to say boys because that sounds.
Yeah, sounds weird. But yeah. Well.
But I didn't know he was gay until then either.
Yeah. So there was a lot coming at you right then.
It really was a lot. And I'd been drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of information coming your way.
A lot going on right there. Yep.
Why'd you go out to the hallway for?
I don't remember. I have no idea why I opened that door. I have no idea.
Right time. Yeah.
I just,
You just knew.
Yeah.
Your radar went off.
Open this door.
Something said, yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I've had, I've seen flying so much with my career, having to fly all the time. I would run into people, in airports, or they'd be in first class. I sat next to Reggie Jackson one time. And he didn't speak to me at all, and I didn't speak to him either because I figured, if he wanted to talk to me, he would. Mm-hmm. Besides, when you fly all the time, the last thing you want to do is have to talk to people. So you get out and put your Bose headset on and, keep quiet. But yeah.
Yeah, I usually sleep on an airplane.
Yes, I can fall asleep before the plane takes off because I know what to do if it crashes.
But oh yes, that's right. Because if I sat next to a celebrity though, I think I'd be like, oh, can I get an autograph? And then I'm gonna take a nap. But I would get an autograph first.
You would?
Oh yeah.
Maybe at one time I probably would have. Then I was like, what would I do with it?
That's my thing. Like, I don't see quite the point of getting an autograph. I can see getting a picture with the celebrity and having that. That's really cool. I have pictures with Shatner and Robin Williams, but so I get that, but I don't know. There seems to be no point with getting a.
I did get an autograph from Nolan Ryan on a baseball, and I gave that to my nephew, great nephew. Yeah, that was years ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those meet and greet kind of things. So he was there autographing anyway. So yeah, that was different than just cold.
The only celebrity I've ever run into was Matthew Lillard. But that was pretty cool.
Ran into him?
Sort of. So when I went to Gen Con, which is a big board game event, Matthew Lillard, he has a company, or he's part of a company, and their company was there. And so they had a booth, and
he said he makes games.
It's a gaming. Yeah, it's like a board game company. I don't know. I don't know if he's like just a partner, or if like he owns it, or like what he is in it, but he's like a big part of it because he was out on the floor selling the stuff that they have. So they had like Dungeons and Dragons dice and stuff. I think they're like a D&D maybe like company or something. I'll have to look it up later. But he was there and he was on the floor selling their items. And my girlfriend and I, we had walked by the table a couple times, never saw him. And we finally did one more like pass and we saw him, and he wasn't doing autographs. Like there were, we were going over there and we heard other people in front of us ask like, is he doing like, can we get an autograph? And he was just like, no, I'm here with like the business, no autographs, like the people they're working with, he's not doing autographs right now, which makes sense. Otherwise everyone would go over there and, it was cool because this little girl, well, I don't know if she was a little girl, like she might've been like an adult, but she had Down syndrome. And her parents took her over there. And I felt kind of bad because like this guy walks up and says, hey, can I get an autograph? He's like, no, I'm not doing autographs. 3 seconds later, these parents come up with this girl and they're like, hey, Matthew, she's such a big fan of yours. Like we were wondering if, she could get a picture with you and an autograph. And he's like, oh, absolutely. And I was like, well, but of course he's going to.
Yeah.
But it was so sweet because, he was immediately like, absolutely, no hesitation, walked around the corner. He grabbed something for her. Like he had something else for her. He did the voice. So we were standing there. We heard him do like the Shaggy voice. And so that was really cool just to kind of like watch him do that and then, sign the autograph. But by then like a crowd was kind of forming because he's signing an autograph. So he went away right after that. But, like the little girl had like on Scooby-Doo shirts, had a Scooby-Doo lunchbox, I think. And then had like a photo and stuff. And so, like she obviously really liked Scooby-Doo.
Did they come for that reason?
I don't know. They might have, they may have come just for that reason. So
sure seems like it.
Yeah.
It definitely seemed like it. But it was, they saw their chance to take it. I respect it, but also like, not the best time. But also, Matthew Lillard, he did the right thing there.
That's one of those hard situations that you're constantly put into as a celebrity of like,
you can't say no to a kid.
Yes. But the weird, like, well, it's like, so where's these lines at that are, it's
and that's why I felt bad because literally 3 seconds before someone was like, oh, can I get an autograph? And he was like, no, I'm not doing autographs. I'm here with the company. And then they come around, can we get an autograph?
Yeah.
And, he just like absolutely gets down on one knee, takes a photo and does everything. But, I couldn't imagine being in that where it's just like, who do you say no to? Who do you say yes to? And that line. But it was super cool. I heard him do the voice in person, so I was the only celebrity I've ever. And then whenever he was leaving, I was like, thank you for what you've done. He was like, you got it. And then I looked at the dice they were selling, and I almost bought some.
But you didn't.
I didn't, because they didn't have the one I wanted. So they were sold out of like the one that I actually would have bought. But I almost bought something from it. So it was pretty cool though.
Yeah. I think that's cool though that he stopped for the little girl.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah, because if he hadn't, it would have been somebody would have been there with a camera.
Yeah, someone.
I want to be clear here, Diane. Before people take the wrong thing of you, you're not, a Republican. That's saying that all this complaining about this cancel culture and stuff.
I
just don't want people to take the wrong thing there.
This is why you need to follow politics a little closer, Cade. I'm just going to recommend that to you guys because right now it's not Democrats canceling people. If you pay any attention at all, that you just look at who is burning the books. Okay, who's telling kids that they can't learn stuff? History's not allowed here. See what I mean? So it's not the Democrats that are canceling anybody. I don't care what Bill Maher says.
But speaking of canceling, Cade.
Yeah.
You'll like this one, Diane.
Oh, I hope so.
Our next segment is titled Cancel Culture.
Oh.
This was planned before that entire Matthew Lillard conversation.
Yeah.
Do you want to know who was canceled today?
Sure, if you want. Well, this is going to date it horribly.
Oh, well. I'm sure he'll be canceled again.
Who's canceled today, Diane?
Today, Elon Musk is canceled.
Oh, well, he was canceled when he bought Twitter.
Well, today he actually posted a tweet that said, my pronoun is prosecute Fauci.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah.
Well, that's a two-hitter right there.
Yeah,
that's a intersectional cancellation right there.
He's got everybody canceling him now.
Yeah.
Except for the people who want to arm themselves and go after Fauci because, I don't know, Elon Musk told them to. That's who's canceled today.
Diane's actually done this segment before with Jennifer, I believe. Is that the only time? No, you did Halloween. The Halloween ones with the cauldrons. That was technically cancel culture in between. Yeah. So
it's Diane's favorite.
It's Diane's favorite. I think Diane's favorite is not being done this time. I think. Oh, well, I'll ask you. What's your favorite segment on the show in general?
In general?
Yeah.
I kind of like the Captain Crunch.
Yeah, the
segment
lore
that we
crimes.
did. Lore crimes.
That was
the cereal comparison we did.
Also lore crimes.
Lore crimes. I thought those were great segments.
Yeah. So
I learned
cereal
stuff.
Based.
Well, both were cereal based, but I learned stuff in both of those.
Yeah. I'm sorry we're not doing
cereal
anything.
this time.
No cereal.
Or cereal. That's okay.
Lore crime in general. Yeah.
So cancel culture.
Cancel culture is simple. Who do we want to cancel? I have a list of items.
I have 2,000 followers. You tell me. Who would you like cancel?
I have a list of people, characters, ideas, aspects of popular culture.
Okay.
And we're going to look at them as if, they're what they do with TV shows. We're either going to cancel them outright. Which means that they cease to exist with our very word. At the end of this podcast, we have canceled them. We're going to renew them. That whatever it is stays exactly how they are. No changes. No changes. They just keep going how they exist. Or we're going to retool them in some sort of way. We're going to change aspects of this idea or whatever it is.
Okay.
And retool them a bit. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Starting simple. Astronauts in general. Are they cool?
Renew.
Okay. Nothing you would change about astronauts.
I love astronauts.
You love astronauts in space or land?
They have to start on land. They got to come back to land. So yes.
So you think that they should? Do you like them in space? Do you like them in space or land more?
I like astronauts in space more.
I eat both. I mean, once you're an astronaut.
I say we keep them in space.
No.
Never come back.
No.
I like them more in space, don't you?
No.
Yeah, because then they take really pretty photos and they do cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when they come back, they teach people in schools. I mean,
I haven't ever been taught by an
They share
astronaut.
their knowledge with other people.
They
You've
tell us
never
that
been
the
to
Earth isn't flat.
Yeah, really. You haven't ever been to a lecture by an astronaut?
Do they
or-
spend their time, most of their time, explaining that the Earth isn't flat now?
I think they run for a U.S. Senate seat, actually.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
A couple of them have done that, actually.
Okay, so you're okay. Well, I guess this
A
sounds
full
good.
renewal.
Full renewal. Astronauts are cool, and we're
I
going to
like
keep
'em.
them. Okay. Buzz Aldrin spent a lot of his time saying he's going to punch people for saying the moon landing was fake.
Yeah. And he
I
should.
respect that.
I don't blame him.
That's
He's up there.
standing. Those are self-imposed rules, and he's standing by them.
That's
He
true.
was up there. Yeah.
Even if he was just an actor in that, he's staying by his,
Oh, yes.
his role.
I forgot. Mr. Conspiracy
No,
Theory.
I respect him because he's going with the bit to the very end.
He's doing what Matthew Lillard did.
Yes. So I respect Buzz Aldrin for being a. I'm not gonna go with the bit all the way, but if
He was
say
also on
was,
Dancing with the Stars.
see, he's a showman, and I respect that.
He also was some of the money and publicity behind Finding the Ark.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to Google that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a fun one. I don't. What do you mean the arc? The big.
Like the boat.
The boat.
The big Noah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The one that they redid. Oh yeah.
The one they're trying to find
Oh.
in the Himalayas or wherever.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh, so
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
find the ark.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he did
You'll
that.
have to Google that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of nuts.
That'd be kind of cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, second, Ringo Starr.
I forgot who Ringo Starr is.
The drummer for the Beatles.
Oh, that
Oh my God.
makes a lot of sense, actually. He's British.
Okay. Well,
Retool.
Is he still alive? Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
still
he's,
alive.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of the two we got.
That's right.
Isn't that I think everyone's jumping up in joy that we have
Two Beatles.
Two left.
Paul and Ringo and not John and George, right?
No.
Everyone. If they had
What
to pick,
is
if they had
wrong
to-
with
if
you?
they had to pick two, they would pick Paul and Ringo.
I don't think anybody would want to pick. What is wrong with you? Oh my God.
Paul McCartney was on a PBS the other day. Or on.
Can you do an
not PBS,
impression?
No, I couldn't. NPR. Sorry, he was on NPR.
Can you do impressions of any of them?
No.
You can't do Ringo. They just-
That was almost a Ringo.
That was almost Ringo. You just kind of have to do it.
That
a
was
little-
back from the 60s.
Yeah, a
though.
little
Yeah.
nasally. Yeah.
Yeah, that was from the 60s. Early
Retool
70s.
him. Retool. I don't think they should be the Beatles anymore.
Oh, you're gonna go past Retool.
Yeah, past Retool.
Okay.
Time to. I don't know. Choose a different bug. No more.
Bug. Would you do anything with Ringo?
No.
Keep him as he is.
Yeah.
Is he
You're
doing
gonna
good?
renew?
Is he doing good?
I hope so.
He's 82.
Yeah, see, he's
By the time
82.
this is
Paul's in
released.
his 80s too. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, let's let him be. Let it be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a song.
Yes,
a
it is
reference.
a song. That's right. It's a Beatles song.
Beatles song. Maybe put
Written
him in
by
a
John
yellow
Lennon.
submarine. Maybe that's how I'd retool.
That's a good Ringo song.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Just let him be.
Mm-hmm.
They're in their 80s. Come on, guys.
Okay.
They're lucky they know their names.
Jorts, jean shorts, jorts as they call them.
Renew.
Jean shorts.
They call them jorts.
Jorts.
Yeah.
I would have to see what those look like. Yeah.
They're just short. They're just shorts that are jeans.
Okay.
Jean shorts, jorts.
It would depend. Yeah.
It would depend.
Yeah. It would depend
John
what
Cena
they say.
wore them whenever he was in WWE. That's what people would make fun of him for wearing.
I never saw him in WWE because I'm not a big fan of
Yeah.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Everyone's a fan of John Cena. Oh, apparently not.
I guess renew.
Renew?
Yeah.
Okay, no changes.
I don't, but maybe.
Should
I don't know.
all
This
jeans
is-
be shorts?
This is like a guy thing, right?
No, girls wear jean shorts.
Well, I did when I was young. I wore jean shorts, but they were like truly jeans that you cut off. They weren't made
Daisy
to be shorts.
Dukes.
Yes. Which I think that's the real jean short.
No, jean shorts are longer. They're like shorts.
Okay, whatever.
They're renewed.
This is the best you could do.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Well, he said we're starting simple.
We're starting simple. These are simple
Okay.
concepts. Rudely calling someone a beatnik.
Beat
My
Nick.
God.
What is a
That's not even
beatnik?
a thing anymore.
Well, should they?
Google it.
Hey, Google. What is a beatnik?
According to Wikipedia, beatniks were members of a socio-cultural movement in the 1950s that subscribed to an anti-materialistic lifestyle.
Oh,
Yeah.
renew.
Beatniks still exist. I mean, it's never gone away, really.
Yeah.
Well, I've never heard of it in my life.
But
Yeah.
like they did
But
a lot
the
of
word.
They wore their little berets, right?
They had
and their
poetry readings
and their little
and-
turtle,
yeah,
the black
yeah.
turtlenecks.
Oh, turtlenecks.
What was the guy's name? The poet that had
Yes.
really all the. He got in a lot of trouble because he used
Edgar
lots
Allan
of
Poe.
dirty words.
John Cena.
It's all
Not
the
gonna come
LBs,
to me.
right? It's not. Well, Lenny Bruce was technically.
Lenny Bruce, yeah, he was considered a beatnik.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Do you think people should rudely call people beatniks again?
I don't know.
Say, hey,
I
you
could care
beatnik.
less.
Are you a
Bunch of
beatnik?
beatniks over here.
I don't care.
Are you a
You don't
beatnik,
care.
Diane?
You have to pick a side, Diane. That's part of the game.
I have to pick a side. What is it? Retool, cancel,
Yeah, or renew.
renew? Let's. Oh gosh,
Just wait till we ask you about the Dust Bowl.
this is going to be renew.
Okay, renew. Okay.
Renew because you know all the kids who were at the sit-ins for the Wall Street
Yeah.
deal, you know, what were they called?
Protesters.
Well, besides protesters.
I don't know what you mean. Yeah.
Anyway, they part of where they were protesting wasn't outside our building,
Oh.
right in New York, and so you would walk by there.
Oh, you mean
and
like Occupy Wall Street? Is that what you're talking about?
Occupy Wall Street
Okay.
people? See, those were beatniks. They were the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You'd walk by.
So if you protest out in front of a bank, you're a beatnik.
Well,
What, did you call them a beatnik to their face?
yeah, because they wouldn't know what I was talking about. Because they were all getting high, which was great, right?
Yeah.
So we'd walk through there a couple times, you know.
Refresh yourself.
Yes, just refresh ourselves. We're walking through. Oh, do I smell like pots? Because I was out there by the Occupy Wall Street people. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you
Good
had
cover.
you had the couple under the blanket that were getting it on. I mean, it was like this is the So you go from beatniks in the 50s to the Woodstock in the 60s to
Like in Snoopy? Snoopy on Woodstock?
Occupy Wall Street in the 2000s. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
There you go.
That's how it could be renewed.
That's a great. So you're just
Yeah.
saying that it renews itself anyways.
It does anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just not the name.
Right.
So do you think we should bring back 1950s Jello recipes?
Oh,
No. Keep those canceled.
Yeah, keep them canceled. Especially the ones with cottage cheese in them.
Or tuna.
Ooh, cancel. Absolute.
They put
cancel.
tuna in Jello.
Jell-O? Yeah, tuna in Jell-O.
No.
You've seen some of these horrific things that they make? Yeah.
Now my mom used to take and put. She'd take strawberry Jello and she'd cut up a banana and put it in there and some nuts and some strawberries if she had them or blueberries. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I bet that would be good.
But the whole cottage cheese.
Yeah.
And now I didn't even know about the tuna fish. I'm probably going to have a nightmare.
Yeah.
Cancel that
Cancel
immediately.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
gone.
50s
Kate is
Jell-O.
Googling it.
recipes.
Ooh.
It's gross. That's one of the things.
Oh, and the moles. They got moles even. Look at those. Oh my gosh.
Shrimp. Ooh.
Shrimp and Jell-O?
Spam.
Spam and Jello. Oh man, that's
Spaghetti-O
disgusting.
Jello.
Look at those olives in that green Jello. That is almost like haunted.
These Vienna sausage.
I can't believe they did that with Jello. I'm so grateful my mom never did that.
Yeah. This was a thing.
They abused Jell-O.
Wow,
Shrimp. I guess really they did do a lot of shrimp in them. I don't know how I feel about that.
that's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah,
lot of
well,
things. Gross.
Yeah, I could have gone my whole life and not even known that happened.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
That's gross. Cancel that.
Okay, we're going to be quick with these ones. These are lightning rounds.
Lightning rounds.
Lightning rounds. Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Nicolas Cage.
Renew.
Renew. Yeah.
Okay. No changes.
No changes.
Casual Fridays at the office.
Don't care.
Did you like them whenever you...
Yes.
Retool.
I can think about that for a second.
Retool every day of the week. Casual every day.
Really? Why not?
Why not?
Casual all the time.
Why do you need to be professional? It's
Yes.
2022.
That's good.
It did-
2023 by the time this comes out, maybe.
Retake the line, Alex.
Yeah. Why can't you be business casual all the time?
Why not? It's 2023.
Right.
It's just do it. Like, why not?
Why not?
Exactly.
I could tell you stories about what really professional dress is, and you guys have never done it. So
It'd be awful.
trust me,
I'd hate it.
you don't want to do it.
I'd hate
Yeah.
it.
Saying, thank God it's Friday.
Don't care.
Retool. Thank God it's Thursday.
They did do this study with these companies about working 4-day weeks,
Yeah, that's true.
and all the companies who participated are staying with 4-day weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. So it should be
more-
TGIT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God it's Thursday. The restaurant chain TGI Fridays.
Wow. That's... Well, Retool needs to be TGIT. Thank God it's
There you
Thursdays.
go.
Yeah.
I like their
that's-
sliders.
Is it weird that they would call themselves Friday or like after a day of the week and they're open all the time? I think they should only be open on Fridays.
Ooh.
Back in the day when it started,
Yeah.
Friday was when you went to happy hour.
Uh-huh.
Everybody went to happy hour on Fridays, so that's why it was thank God it's Friday.
But it's open
and
all the time.
It was a bar.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. What makes it stand out amongst all the other chain restaurants? Nothing.
Yeah. I mean,
No offense.
It was a rhetorical question.
No offense, Fridays.
If you sponsor us and give us a page to read as to why you are so great, we will say it.
we will. We'll live
TGI
it.
Fridays. It's the greatest chain restaurant, and this is how they're different.
And they have the best sliders.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for that, or I'll
Okay,
try it. I mean, if
you
it's
have to
good,
try
I'll
it,
have to
yeah.
Sounds like
try
we're
it.
going to TGI Fridays.
TGI Fridays.
Dave and Buster's sliders are pretty good too.
Okay. I like.
Diane's trying to get us a sponsorship.
I am
She's trying to get
trying so
sliders.
hard.
I love.
We could get paid in sliders.
Chili's. Their big mouth bites. That's what I
Okay.
like. Their little
Yeah.
little
I love Chili's. They have great soup, great quesadilla, great salsa.
We're about to lead into a butt or something.
Nope, that's all. I love Chili's.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. I think Chili's. It's good for a chain restaurant. Yeah, it's probably one of the better ones, I think.
Yeah.
I think TGIF's sliders are better than Chili's.
Well, I haven't tried their sliders, so I'm gonna have to.
Dave and
We'll have to go
Buster's are
to
better.
TGI Fridays and Chili's all on the same day.
Really, you guys, we have got to do this. This is a taste testing thing that has to happen. We may need to travel.
Travel all the way to a TGI Friday.
Yeah, there's just one right there. Well, did they rebuild it after the tornado hit it?
Yeah, there's a TGI Fridays just down the street.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we can bring in all of our podcast stuff.
That's right. They won't mind. I'm sure.
I'm sure. I mean, every time I've been to a TGI Fridays, it's been pretty empty.
Yeah, just go in on like a Tuesday or something. I'm sure they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't go on Friday.
Yeah, on a non. Just go on a non.
They have
Friday.
really good milkshakes too.
Oh wow, you're really selling me on TGI Fridays.
That's a big Fridays fan.
When I would take the kids to the movies, because there's a Fridays right there, we would go eat at Fridays before we went into the movies. And they would get milkshakes and sliders
You would smuggle them in
and
your
all that kind of
pockets.
stuff.
Sliders in the pockets.
No,
Sneak them into the theater.
Well, that was cancel culture.
you're really good with the board.
Oh, I try my best. I'm pretty good with it.
Anything you miss about office life, Diane, being in an office?
Yeah, the people maybe. I mean, most of my memories, the good stories I have are really about people, more so than the office. We that one of the people who worked for me won the lottery in Texas. And do you want to hear that story, or do you want that one to be a Patreon?
No, tell the story, because I've heard the story. But
She passed away here recently too. It's just kind of a little heartbreaking, but she didn't run out of money.
Yeah.
Anyway, so her husband played the lottery. It's a Texas lottery, so not the big national one. Anyway, so he played all the time, and from my understanding, from what she told me, he called her up at work and said, "Honey, we won the lottery," and she was like, "Yeah, bullshit, David. Try again." And he goes, "No, we did."
Yeah.
So they drove down to Austin.
So
which is where you
previously
had
to
go.
this, you had conversations. About what you're going to do. Yeah.
Because when the lottery started in Texas, every lunchtime we were all like, if I win, then you're going to be my gardener, and I'm going to give everybody $10,000 that I work with, and yada yada yada, and we're going to go and we're all going to quit our jobs. It's going to be great. We're all going to go work for. This was big when it was Gina, is her name. We're all going to go work for Gina. And we all had our different jobs. I was going to be the house manager because that's what I did, was manage. Those who can't, they put in management. That's the whole story. But anyway, so yeah, every lunchtime we were always talking about this kind of stuff. And so she wins the lottery, and when she won on a Wednesday. Well, on Friday, everybody's at lunch, and they're at this restaurant not far from the building that we work in that had a TV, and they had it on the local news. And all of a sudden, here's Gina and her husband holding the big check, $17 million, where they won the lottery.
Wow.
And so these are the guys who work for me. We're all at lunch together. I was in Chicago. So they go back to the office and they tell my boss that they just saw Gina on TV. She's won the lottery. My boss goes, what the hell? So he calls me. Well, it wasn't like we had cell phones at the time. So he tracks me down. I'm at a hotel in Chicago at this meeting where we're going to try to merge these two banks. It's one of the first meetings, so it's real contentious and all this stuff. And I'm no longer a second on the wall. Now I'm at the table. Yeah. And the phone rings in this conference room at the Hilton in Chicago. And so everybody looks at each other, and the person close to it walks over and picks it up and says, hello. And I could hear my boss's voice because he was from, where was he from? New York, I think. Anyway, he had quite the accent. It was real loud. And I could hear him. I thought, oh, man, what happened? So she looks at me, and she said, Diane, it's for you. So I get on the phone, and I said, okay, Connie, what is it? His name was Connie. That was his nickname. Anyway, he said, Gina won the lottery. And I went, what the fuck? In front of all these people. All these people. Here I'm trying to make a good impression.
Yeah.
I'm going to convert your bank. It's going to be great. I'm this positive person. And I said, what the fuck, in front of all of them? You're fucking kidding me. Nope, she won $17 million. If you can get a hold of her, you probably want to. And I'm like, this is Friday.
Yeah.
So I have to get on a plane, go back to Dallas. Go back to Dallas. And I call her over the weekend, and she's not answering, right? She calls me Sunday night and tells me, I don't know if you know this or not, but David and I won the lottery. And I said, Gina, everybody and God knows you won the lottery. They have torn your cubicle apart. There's nothing left. I said, Cade tried to stop people, but they even took the Post-it notes. And so she said, well, I'm going to take off for a few days, but I'll be in. I said, you're never coming back to work, Gina. We're going to have a party for you on Tuesday. We'll see you there, but you're never coming back to work. And she goes, oh, yeah, I want. I said, no, you won't. Trust me. She says, okay. So I'll come in on Tuesday. I said, okay. So she does. She comes in on Tuesday, and Gina was a smoker at the time. The president of the bank comes down, and my admin asked the president of the bank if it was okay if Gina smoked there on the floor. And he said, Gina, you're our largest depositor. You can do whatever you want to do.
So did she deposit at that bank?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
we knew the guys in the trust department, which is where you go when you win that kind of money.
So did
Talk
she
about a rise from,
Oh, I know, from being my employee.
So she wins. You guys throw her a party on Tuesday, and I'm guessing she never came back to work.
She never came back. They even took the sweater out of her. You know how people leave their sweater, behind, Yeah.
Did she give you guys $10,000?
Oh, hell no. The rumor was, at the bank that she gave us money. She didn't give us a dime.
Oh.
She did.
You could take her to court for
after
that.
she bought her mansion. She did have a big party and invited us all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That was nice.
Good for her, though.
But
Good
you
for her.
spent, a lot of time just managing that money.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a full-time job when you have that kind of money to manage it. I know how much time it takes me, and having that much, oh, Lordy. Plus, she was the youngest of 11 children
Oh, wow.
in her family. She was from Tulsa originally. And so she had to set aside trust for each one of them and their family. I mean, there was a lot involved. It was a lot of work. But she's still the same person,
Yeah.
you know. So
She just
when I
got
would
to
go to
retire
Dallas, after I moved up here, I'd go to Dallas and catch up with her and happy hour and stuff. And good friends.
Wow, that's awesome. Good for her.
It's good for her.
I'll win the lottery one day.
Yeah, you got to play.
I do
You know-
whenever it gets big, I'll throw some money at
Some
it.
money. Yeah, you know what surprised me was that her husband still played. Still bought lottery tickets twice
That
a
was
week.
you already beat the odds with that. And
Well,
then
you know,
think you're going to happen
even
twice.
my odds were reduced because I knew somebody.
Yes.
who won the lottery.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
So my odds were reduced just from that experience. Theirs were really reduced, but there have been people that have won twice. So. Not him.
People have been struck by lightning twice, I guess, too.
And I don't know if he's still alive or not. She was older than me, but she had cancer, passed away.
Just recently. Yeah.
Yeah, like within the last month. Wow. Anyway, her daughter, so now she's got the money to, her kids can go to college, right? So her daughter gets a full ride to Stanford.
Well.
And I think she became a lawyer. Yeah. And then the son guy, she bought a studio for him.
Wow.
So he did recording and stuff.
Wow.
He may still, for all.
That's how you get generational wealth.
Yeah.
Win the lottery.
That's right, win the lottery.
Yeah. I mean, the impact, this probably will be widespread, for that whole
yeah,
family.
For the whole family, for
Yeah.
her brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and all of them, yeah.
Yeah.
They were all impacted. Now, if I won the lottery, it'd be a whole different story. I'd buy me an island. Yeah.
Would we be invited?
It just depends.
Could we shoot a couple of our podcast episodes there?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
There we go.
That.
You'd buy an
You'd
island?
have to pay for yourself to get there, though.
Okay.
I'm not paying you to come in.
But we can film there.
Oh, no, I didn't want it recorded anywhere where I'm going to give you a dime if I win the lottery.
Yes. So where would it be? On the Caribbean? Is that where it should be? Where's your island be? Okay.
Antarctica.
Off
This little
Nantucket.
ice sheet.
Have one off Nantucket and one in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go for it.
Why not?
Yeah, I think so. And you're a big, there's no transition here. You're a big fan of NASCAR. You used to go to NASCAR.
Wow.
I used to. It's been years. I mean, I don't even know really who drives anymore.
Yeah.
But back in the day, when it was a target-rich environment, my girlfriends and I would go to NASCAR races.
Yeah. How was that experience?
Well, it was kind of funny because we would go early, go antiquing one day, do all the foo-foo stuff that we love doing, and then we would go to the race, and then we would come back home.
Yeah. Where were the tracks you went to?
Oh, gosh. Let's see. Where do you want me to start?
Did you go around to a bunch of them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, some of it was because I was working there anyway. Like at Phoenix, been to Phoenix a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then, and I have friends that live in Phoenix. So anyway, Bristol, Tennessee, Florida, let's see, Virginia,
Like
Tennessee. That's it, Tennessee.
like Daytona. Did you go to Daytona?
Been to Daytona, Texas. Let's see. Gosh, where else do we get? Charlotte, North Carolina. In fact, at Mooresville, where they lost their power, that's where most of the race teams are actually located.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet that was good for business. And so kind of all over the place.
Yeah. I went, not during a race day, but I was over there by, when we was going through, Alabama, I think it's Talladega. And it's around nothing.
There's nothing there. Oh my gosh. I've only been there once, but there's nothing there. You have to stay in Birmingham and then drive to Talladega.
Yeah.
And then they have no parking lot. It's just big fields.
Yeah.
And these people would put up in U-Hauls and they would stay in this U-Haul for 3 days during the race events and stuff.
Yeah.
I went to a fundraiser for the Institute of the Blind and Deaf which is outside of Talladega. There.
Wow. So yeah, so what do they do? Do they set up like a whole, like, is there like a vendors that go around and they set up? I mean, like, I would imagine food's a problem. I'd imagine just infrastructures in general whenever they have their race. I mean, it's one of the biggest races and there's nothing for
They
miles.
bring in a lot of what's it called? Porta potties.
Yeah.
The stadium itself has restrooms in it.
Yeah.
And food places, just like any stadium you go to that have all that.
Yeah.
A lot of food trucks. And then the race teams has their Merc trailers, and they are all lined up too because they're there to sell the Merc.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where they make a lot of money at that.
There's a great, I'll plug in here. There's this on YouTube. There's a really great documentary. I don't know. I just saw it it's on like the history of like Talladega and like why that spot and like who the person who created it and everything. It's like, I think it's like 2 hours long. Some guy just made it and it was really well made documentary.
It's a really interesting race to watch. You can't see the entire track. It's kind of like Indianapolis. You can't, when you're there, even if you're at the top, you can't see the whole track because it's that big. And the corners at Talladega and Daytona's like this too are like 4 stories high, and they're like on their sides. So when they go around the corners, you're looking at the top of these cars.
Yeah, wow.
And it's just the centrifugal force that keeps them, I guess, on the ground. Yeah, and the speed.
The speed, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That they're going. We did have I went to Talladega with my brother, and at the end of that race, I think there was a wreck, and so they had a yellow flag, and then they had to restart the race. They were all bunched up together. And when they came around for the last lap, 2 cars hit each other, and one of them launched in the air, and it literally was eye level with us, and we were at the top, right? Mm-hmm. And this car is flipping end over end like this, and then it lands and flips again and again and again. The guy finished 4th. Of course, they had to take him to the hospital. But it was amazing. If you've ever been in a car wreck, it's just shock at how much, damage there is when you're going 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Or, but as you add speed to that,
It's worse and worse.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
Wow.
Incredible. Anyway, that was short-lived.
Yeah.
Short-lived little space of time,
Well,
like
when
5
you're
or 6 years.
when you're there, for other reasons, I can see just sort of going to these things and stuff, or even just making a trip out of it too.
A person that I worked with was, into it and said, "Hey, come go with me." Mm-hmm. And she was a debutante in Dallas.
Okay.
And she had never traveled alone. She had always had somebody, kind of go with her and stuff. So I said, "Sure, I'll go with you." It was fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was target rich. There's like 100 men for every woman there. Wonderful. Yeah.
Well, do you have a question for Diane?
No, I've exhausted all of the ones I have.
All the ones you have, there's nothing else you want to know about me?
Diane's here. You wanted Diane here.
Yeah.
Here's Diane.
Let's see here.
Yes, I have been to Cedar Point.
Oh, yeah. When did you visit Cedar Point?
Gosh, you would ask me that.
Date.
In the 90s.
Okay. Do you like roller coasters? Did you like roller coasters?
Yeah, I wasn't getting on a roller coaster. Space Mountain's the only roller coaster you'll see me
So
on.
what'd you do whenever you...
I was screaming for my mama on Singo.
What'd you do when you went to Cedar Point?
Well, watched a lot of my friends on roller coasters.
You were the back holder?
It's America's roller coaster.
Yeah.
America's roller coaster?
Yeah. I walked around a lot. It was hot. I remember that part. When I worked in Ohio, we tried to go everywhere on the weekends. We went to Niagara Falls, which is really not very far.
6 hours, I think.
Yeah. It's like when you live here in Texas,
Everything's
and you
far.
go to a place in Ohio, everything is so close there. You drive to Chicago, you can drive to Indianapolis.
Yeah, they're like 1, 2, 3, 4 hours away.
Yeah.
And there's like we were talking earlier, a bunch of different cities. There are tons of cities in Ohio, and they are
A lot of cool places to go. Yeah. We went down to in Cleveland to what's that area called in Cleveland where all the bars are?
Oh,
It's by the stadium.
Oh, Lord, I
We
couldn't
spent a lot
tell
of time
you.
there.
I've seen Bar Rescue, and they've talked about this area.
I've been to Sandusky. I went to a racetrack in Sandusky once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was dating a guy, or I got fixed up. Well, that's another story. But he was an announcer and he would go to different tracks. They would hire him to come announce races.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and I went to Sandusky just to
Oh, wow.
do that. I've been to Toledo. I mean, you think about it, there's all these cities in Ohio that you hear all the time, like Cincinnati and
Cincinnati, Cleveland,
Dayton, Zanesville. Zanesville.
Yeah, Ohio's a fascinating place.
It really is, and there's a lot of different cultures there. I think people don't really appreciate too much. You know,
I like
they got
Ohio.
the Mennonites.
Got a lot of Amish.
The history of it's kind of a fascinating, and how they opened up like that area, and it was kind of after the colonies were settled, and like kind of like the way they parsed out that land was kind of different. And that's kind of why it's so densely, because it is an older part, and I mean it's not as old as, of course, the colonies. But it is an older state, and it was very densely populated because of people. Essentially, they filled up this area, and so they opened up these, and they had like little lots of land and everything, and so yeah, I mean it does have a very fascinating history.
Yeah, and there's distinct areas. I mean, they have urban areas, and then they have really rural, really rural, like Oklahoma rural.
Yeah, no, it's, you'll be in the city and then you drive out and then you're just in a lot of corn, and then you'll come up on a small town and then back into the corn. And so, a lot of people joke about like, oh, it's just all corn, but it is a lot of corn. It is a lot of corn. But
They
then
do a lot of corn there.
You do. I mean, you'd say that, but like, I mean, all of like Kansas or Nebraska is that pretty much.
Yeah, same thing with
that's true.
Illinois.
Yeah,
That's true.
And,
Most of Illinois is like that too.
well, if you look at like almost like a Nebraska is important. Like all their like major cities are kind of on the side, and like in even Kansas, it's they're not like most of the middle. Like whereas like with Ohio, I mean, I'm sure there are miles and miles
It's
of
more
corn,
pockets.
but there's these pockets of cities
City.
throughout it, which is
And
not the
Toledo
case.
is probably has the largest population of farm migrant workers. Live in Toledo, Ohio. So some other interesting
Toledo's
facts.
right there on the Michigan border.
Some interesting
essentially.
facts about Ohio you may not know. More serial killers are from Ohio.
I have heard that.
Born in Ohio than any other place. Although there may be more serial killers that have committed acts of serial killing in
Elsewhere.
California. They were from Ohio.
Yeah.
That's where they were born and raised.
Yeah, a lot of them travel and go to different places, and yeah, but they were
Must
born-
be the
I guess
water.
born-
Lake Erie.
Dahmer was from
Lake Erie.
Ohio.
Lake Erie it's cleaner now, but Lake Erie obviously has its history of awful pollution.
I would not want to see what was under all that water. There's gotta
I would
some
be
bad
fascinating.
stuff.
I would love to go like,
We know the Edmund Fitzgerald's down there somewhere, right?
huh?
Edmund Fitzgerald, yeah. The song,
I'm not.
See, I would love to just like scuba dive, like, and just look at the bottom of Lake Erie. Like, it'd be so dirty, but that'd be fascinating. Like,
it's deep. There's a lot of ships
far.
down there.
oh yeah, I think it'd be cool. And the pollution though.
It's a treacherous, pass.
But and Cedar Point's right there.
Yeah. You want to bring back an old segment titled Proust Party. Kicking it old school with this one, Diane. We don't do this segment anymore. We've almost kind of officially retired it, but we'll do it. We'll bring it back for you.
Might as well bring it back for the retired chick.
1 through 35.
Choose a number.
Choose a number.
17.
17. Okay. And hey, Google, choose a number between 1 and 35. Okay.
That's a
27.
dice. That was a dice.
27. So you said 17, 27. What do you say?
32.
32. Okay. What is it that you most dislike, Diane? What do you dislike the most? What do you dislike? Just in general, say the most, because that makes it seem weird. Because in general, you would just probably be like Hitler or something, but we're not doing that. What do you dislike?
Right now, I can, at this point in my life, what I dislike the most is dog poop and getting bit by a toothless dog.
Okay. That seems like a good thing to dislike.
Very specific.
Yeah.
It's very specific.
Very specific.
That's what I hate the most right now. Now,
Would you
on a-
outlaw that? Would you outlaw getting bit by a toothless
Totally.
dog?
Totally. To look at a broader spectrum, obviously, domestic terrorists, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But me personally, right now, what's really gigging me is dog poop and being bit by.
On
a
the same
poopy dog.
scale, I feel like domestic terrorism, dog poop. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah. These are what did we say? What was the other one?
32 and
32 is one we just did.
17
17.
and 20.
What talent would you most like to have? I think we've had this weirdly before.
No, I don't think we have.
Okay. What talent would you most like to have?
Would I most like to? I would have liked to have been able to dance. I think because I've always been so impressed by people who could dance.
Okay. Dance.
I mean, I can dance, but
not
like
like-
really
yeah.
dance.
And who are your heroes in real life?
My heroes in real life.
Yeah.
My mom is going to be one of those. Just because she has lived now for 14 years with dementia.
Oh, wow.
Knowing she has dementia. So she has moments of clarity where she knows she's forgotten everything. And it's got to be scary and horrible. And then in that moment, it's got to be just soul crushing. Yet she carries on.
Yeah.
She finds a way to be happy every day. She finds a way to love her life, even though from our perspective, none of us would want to live it.
Yeah.
She still finds a way to love life. And damn,
Yeah.
I don't care who you know. It's just seeing that every day and seeing her live this every day. And for years now, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
And I hope it doesn't happen to me. But if it does, I hope and pray that I can handle it with her a bomb.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, like, not awesome, but, that's awesome.
It's a downer.
Downer. But, like, that's awesome that,
Yeah. that
very-
I have that in my life.
Yeah.
Because it keeps me from just sitting there watching TV.
Yeah.
When you retire, I mean, the desire to work, it's not there. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, you should get a job. You're kidding me, right? I've been doing this since I was 15. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to work anymore. But I don't want to just stop living either. And I don't want to be surrounded by people who have given up on their life, because I've got this example of my mother who hasn't given up on hers, even though she doesn't remember a lot of it.
So is that what you would tell the kids, Diane? Don't give up on your life?
Oh, tell the kids. We like Diane
we'll
talking
do a
to the
close-up,
kids.
Diane.
Talking to the kids,
Yeah. There's your camera right
he's
there.
asked me this before. What would you?
We'll do it.
What advice would you give your younger self or whatever?
Yeah, or to the kids.
And,
yeah.
and here's my advice: don't sweat it.
You said that.
Life is going to happen. You need to live it. You're going to lose your job. You're going to lose a relationship that you loved. You're going to also have new experiences. And if you don't have new experiences, you're not living your life. And you don't have to have all the answers. I am 67, if you want to know for sure. And I don't have all the answers. I look to other people all the time to say, what do you think the answer is? And as long as you are still questioning and still searching, you're living. Right? You don't have to know what you're going to be when you grow up. Wow. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I'm just never working again. Do you understand me? I'm not working.
You are done.
I'm done with the work thing. Does that help your mom too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm done with the work thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was inspirational.
It is inspirational. I mean, you do technically have a job, and that is our podcast. that
Oh,
we do
that's
every-
true. How could I forget that? I got to watch 2 movies every week, and I got to talk about them. I have to make all these notes.
Yeah.
Which they give me a hard time because I write out my notes, instead of loading them into my phone, which you would get like one note from me. Which some of these movies, they're life changing. So I may have 4 or 5 pages of just stuff I learned from this. And then I might have one page that says, this is the most boring thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Why did Cade make me sit through this? Yeah.
You need to release when we're done the journals from the double feature movie club journals.
I should write a book about it, right? Yeah.
Diane journals.
Yeah.
Giant
I
journals.
wish I'd written a book about all the shit my mother says. Because she says stuff like, when I was growing up, we didn't have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of. And I just love that phrase. So I looked it up to see where it came from. And it is a real phrase that people had. And what poor people in Appalachia used to do is they would pee into pots.
Yeah.
And they would take and sell it to the wool makers because that's what they used to, to work wool.
Well, couldn't they produce their own?
Well, they needed a lot of urine, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So that's what they would do is they'd pee into pots and then they would sell their urine. You got to Google that now. I'm telling you, It is just one of the weirdest things. You didn't realize it was part of our history.
So it had to do with the wool process?
Mm-hmm. It had to do with the wool process. And actually, it comes from Scotland. Women would, pee in pots and then, work the wool from it. Then, run it through their looms and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. It's kind of gross. Is this wool? That's what you got on the wool?
That's disgusting. It's old wool.
Old wool.
Yeah.
That's how they manufactured or worked with it.
Wow,
I know.
That is fascinating.
I wish I'd written a book though of all the things she used to say because all of them came from somewhere, and it's really interesting when you start looking up where did the saying come from.
Yeah,
it's fascinating. Wow. Don't ever stop learning.
It's very true. I think that's people who don't have the love or the want to learn or to learn new things. It makes no sense to me, and it frustrates me to no end that because we have a gift here, which is the human brain that can take in so much and learn so many things, and just knowledge is so endlessly fascinating, and it's well worth discovering new things every day and wanting to add things to the
pile of knowledge that you will never use. Right?
Exactly.
And I think you guys are from a perfect time frame because you have the internet. You can go look up anything. You can research it to see what's true or not. Yeah. I mean, there's a downside to it, obviously, but there's also this massive wealth of knowledge that you get access to. When I was going to college, I spent many nights in the library.
Yeah.
And I would never wish that on anybody again. Yeah. So, I think you guys are at a perfect time.
There's upsides and downsides. I mean, people don't remember things anymore because it's just that people can access it. But you're right. I mean, I wouldn't trade living in another time for anything. People always say, oh, you want to go back or the past is so great and all that. And it's like, we have access to everything to all. I mean, who wants to go back for 60s music or whatever decade that you want, whenever you can listen to it all right now for free with a subscription. I guess, the future's all subscriptions, but I pay a subscription and I get all of the history of music at my fingertip. That's worth it.
Exactly.
And that's why Spotify is so great. And you should listen to us on
Spotify. That's right. Let us be your PR Spotify.
Yeah.
We do ads for you.
Exactly.
We like that. Yeah.
You should, Anchor or wherever their podcast.
It's so funny because people talk about this Make America Great Again. Okay.
When?
I am a woman who grew up in the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. I remember what it was like before Roe v. Wade. Mm-hmm. I remember what it was like before you could have a credit card. Mm-hmm. I remember what it was like not being able to buy a house without a cosigner. Mm-hmm. All these things can be lost, especially if you're a woman right now. And all this is on the table and you don't even realize it. And that's probably the scariest thing to me right now. Thank God you're both white men. You won't go through that, but the people around you will. And that's the bad part about that. Some of the things that, you're seeing people wanting to cancel are really freedoms that a lot of us worked really hard to get. Mm-hmm. And until the Equal Rights Amendment's passed, it's all on the table for so many people. Friends of yours, people you love and care about. So, So if you're going to do anything, work on that stuff. Yeah. Come on, guys, get out there, vote, do whatever, because it can be lost like that. And I think a lot of people have realized that now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think Diane should have a political podcast.
I think I should too. Do you know, I would have not been able to go to college if it hadn't been for affirmative action. Mm-hmm. And they're getting ready to turn that off. I mean, overturn it.
Yeah.
So,
no, you're right.
and people are like, oh, well, it's because this, and that. No, I would not have been able to go to college.
Sort of said that women were probably were helped more by affirmative action than
Any other group.
Yeah.
And now we just take it for granted.
Yeah.
And more women graduate from college than men.
Yeah.
All that would be gone.
Yeah.
Just like that. So, yeah.
Well,
Vote.
that was Proust Party.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for
great.
letting me get my politics in. I appreciate that so much. Come on, girls, don't give up.
Well, it's been great having you here, Diane.
It's always great to be with you, Cade.
Oh, I love our talks, and
This is my first with Diane.
I know, Alex, I listen to the ones that you're in. So I love listening to you.
Oh, thank you. I like listening to myself talk as well.
You have an interesting perspective on life.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
Might be a bit conceited, but I like to think so.
Well, you couldn't do what you do if you didn't have a little bit of guts.
Yeah, a little bit of.
Yeah.
A little bit. You gotta have some.
And you like
He's got
Diane.
one.
The right thing you're supposed to say is you like Diane's episodes.
I love Diane's. I love Diane's
Most
TikToks.
watched.
Her
Most
TikToks
watched.
are my favorite TikToks, I think.
I know. I have great TikToks.
Yes. Well, and if you want more of Diane, I mean, you guys have done episodes together because you've done a double feature movie club
feature.
together. Yeah.
We did.
I'm sure I'll do another one.
You have got to come do another one.
Yes.
I'm sure I will.
Yes, you should do another one. The
European horror movies.
something.
Oh, God.
One of them.
I was like, maybe I won't have to go.
Yeah. So if you'd like Diane a lot, you can see her, unless we're off on hiatus, every Sunday on youtube.com/Cade Thomas, or as on wherever you get your podcasts on Double Feature Movie Club.
That's right. Double feature movie club, man.
Yes.
Save you from watching a movie, man. We can do that.
We could do that. Or you could watch along and join the conversation, or you can get recommendations from it. Sometimes we do spoil things. We play that fast and loose with spoilers.
Oh, boy, do we ever.
Sometimes we're like, we're not going to, it'll ruin the film. And then
I
other
have
times,
no problem spoiling a film that I don't think you should have to watch.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But we do say it before. We do give
Not
people.
very well. Not very. You got to just listen in.
Yeah.
'Cause it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. We have a fun time. And
Sometimes we argue,
sometimes we argue. We have different movie tastes.
and I'm usually right.
It's a fun time. Me being a filmmaker and everything, I'd look at things differently. And me being younger, I think that gives us a different perspective. And then,
So
Diane,
you should have a segment that says, instead of waking up as
Benedict
Benedict
Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch, that you wake up as a 70-year-old woman. I think you should.
Yeah.
What would you do?
You wake up as Diane.
Exactly. Do you want me to leave a gun beside the bed? Yeah.
Well, anyways, that's Diane. Diane, as
you,
always.
everyone.
Anything you want to plug, Diane? I think you did
Besides
it?
our double feature.
Double feature,
movie
is that
club?
it? Is that what you're
That's
plugging?
it. That's all
Okay.
I'm going to plug.
And so, subscribe to our podcast, rate us 5 stars, click all the buttons, as
All
we
the
say
buttons.
on Double Feature.
Click all the buttons.
We'd say if you have a question for Diane's on here often, she's co-hosts a lot. She's in Alex's spot sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Send us an email.
Send us an email.
Only when Alex is not available and you can't find anybody else.
Cade Friends at Gmail.
Yeah, cadefriends@gmail.com.
That's right.
But yeah, Diane, I mean, what do you think of Diane filling in for you, Alex?
I like it when whenever Diane's on.
On the red mic.
On the red mic.
On the red
the
mic.
handheld. Whoever's holding the handheld is the co-host, I
It
think.
does make your hands sweaty, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You feel like it's going to just slide right out after a while because it's hot.
That's why sometimes, like, I like whenever we transition or if someone is doing a monologue, I'll just set the mic down and just listen intently. And I'm like, thank goodness.
Get some time. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If you had a good host, you'd have a little fan there.
Oh, that'd be
It's ice pack, maybe.
Yeah, an ice
built
pack.
into the mic.
You know, the NASCAR drivers have an ice pack that's sitting in a little ice chest.
Oh, yeah.
And they run a hose through it and up into their helmet.
Oh, to keep them cool?
Keep their head cool.
Oh, I mean,
See?
yeah.
You could use that
Yeah. Just have an ice chest
right there.
next to the couch.
I like it.
Well, that's been Cade Friends. Thank you, Diane, once again. Lastly.
Thank you, Cade. Thank you, Alex, for inviting me.
We'll have you on again in the future. You know that. Okay. Bye.
Bye. I mean, I could go really out there with this, but I'm not.
Okay.
Because I have respect for you two.
Go out there with it.
I would play with Benedict Cumberbatch all day long.